You probably know two people who make the exact same salary, yet their financial lives look completely different. One accumulates assets with ease, while the other is trapped in a permanent cycle of stress. This diagram illustrates the most critical rule of building an estate. You have to pay yourself first. This is strict. You must save at least 10% of everything you earn. If you consume 100% of your income, you are simply passing your money to other people. That 10% is the mandatory minimum foundation for everything that follows. This flowchart shows that wealth is a continuous, automated cycle. You earn money, you save that 10%, you invest those savings, and then you reinvest the profits. It forms a closed loop. If you stop at step 2, you fail. Your initial savings are essentially seeds. Hoarding them in a jar does nothing. They have to be planted into the market to cultivate any real, lasting harvest. The immediate reaction to this is almost always the same. How can I save 10% when my rent and groceries already consume everything I make? This illustration demonstrates how human behavior guarantees that what we call necessary expenses will naturally expand to equal our income. If you get a raise, your lifestyle inflates. The blue liquid, your income, will continually leak out through impulse buys and upgraded habits unless you actively cap it. That is exactly what a budget is for. It is not a financial prison. It is a harsh spotlight that exposes exactly where your money is leaking, allowing you to patch the holes. Without erecting a defensive barrier against your spending habits, doubling or tripling your salary won't matter. The container will simply grow more and more holes over time, and you will inevitably drain your accounts all the way down to absolute zero. This diagram tracks how a single coin should operate. True wealth is an active workforce. It is a steady stream of income generated by your capital, working around the clock to reproduce itself while you travel or sleep. This visual compares two approaches. You will be tempted by the flimsy tent on the left, high-risk schemes promising immediate returns. Ignore it. Choose the stone fortress. The first rule of investment is the security of your principal. Usurious rates are traps that destroy capital. This architectural blueprint outlines the 3 pillars required for a secure financial base: owning your own home to permanently reduce your living costs, securing insurance to fund your old age, and relentlessly upgrading your own skills to increase your earning power. Offense and defense have to run simultaneously. You lock down the capital you've already accumulated against financial loss, while upgrading your own intrinsic value to generate a wider stream of future income. This table breaks down the psychology of the market. The wise builder acts on logic, seeking expert advice, investing in familiar fields, and valuing steady compounding. The foolish chaser acts on emotion, forcing impossible returns, and following romantic desires straight into financial traps. This equation maps it out perfectly. Luck is not a magical blessing handed down from the sky. It is a strict mathematical formula. You recognize an opportunity, take decisive action, and subtract your hesitation. This hourglass represents the greatest internal threat to that formula: procrastination. Every single day you delay executing your financial plan, you are willingly allowing a thief to drain your future potential, turning solid gold into useless sand. There are external threats as well. The fastest way to empty your gold is answering an emotional plea for money from a desperate friend. This flowchart details how to evaluate these requests. If a loan is backed by property, assets, or proven earning capacity, it is mathematically safe. But if you lend money backed entirely by emotion or desperation, you face a high risk of ruin. Building an estate is an inherently logical process. The moment you let emotion dictate the math, whether through pure greed for a high return or misguided charity for a friend, you invite the total collapse of your system. This diagram of a brick wall shows the modern equivalent of a fortified city. Life will inevitably fire arrows at you: illness, market crashes, unexpected tragedies. Robust savings and heavy insurance act as a physical shield, ensuring your daily life remains perfectly intact. Of course, if you are currently drowning in severe debt, talking about investing and building walls feels entirely disconnected from reality. But the fundamental math still applies here. This bar chart reveals the strict allocation rule for escaping a financial hole. You cap your living expenses at 70%, You distribute 20% evenly to your creditors, and crucially, you still keep 10% for your personal wealth. You never pause the wealth-building engine, even while digging out of the deepest deficit. Carving out that dedicated 10% ensures your compounding momentum never actually stops. This illustration demonstrates an important reframing. Society often treats daily work as a burden or a punishment. In reality, consistent, honest labor is the only reliable fuel source capable of pushing you out of struggle and up into total freedom. This diagram of a golden temple summarizes the entire standard. Save 10% of your earnings, invest it with absolute safety, and continue to hustle smartly to increase your skills. These mechanics were engineered in the richest cities of the ancient world. Technology changes, but human behavior does not. If you adhere strictly to these physical laws of money, long-term financial independence is a mathematical certainty.